and welcome to the Soho LIFF Spotlights. I'm Liz Farahadi, and I'm delighted to be joined today with one of our wonderful, wonderful filmmakers. I'm going to allow him to introduce his name because I've butchered his name too many times. But Tomás, please introduce yourself.
Hello, my name is Tomás Ferreira. I'm the writer-director of In a House at Night that's going to be here at Soho LIFF.
Yay, which is really exciting. So, absolutely loved this.
Thank you.
For people that are watching and wondering what to watch, could you just give them just a really little hint of what the film's about?
Well, I've always seen the film as what happens in the aftermath of an explosion, let's say, and people in the aftermath of that are trying to deal with something that's broken, and that the thing that's broken is really family. In the case of In a House at Night, it's really about a mother and a daughter struggling with her life in a women's shelter. And so, to me, what really hooked me to the film, its story, its idea, was not the occurrence of the violence itself, or try to engage into any flashbacks to her life with her husband, but really the aftermath of that, the aftermath of the explosion, and how people deal with something that is very complex, because what really is there at the core of the film is this examination of the contradictory feelings that a mother and a daughter have for this moment that they're living through, this place, this shelter, which is a very alien place and moment in their lives. And with it, the conflicting feelings of that they feel towards their abuser, a father and a husband, because it's really about how do they remember him. It's a mixed bag, you know. It's because at first you would imagine, well, they hate him, they reject him, but there's also feelings in there through research I've done before writing the film, of really wanting him back and save him from his aggression, his own violence being, because they do remember mother and daughter, the happier father, or the good father that they met. So that's really what I think the film is about.
Yeah, I mean, there's a massive conflict with abuse, isn't there? It's, you know, especially the way people take all the responsibility on themselves. Yeah. I mean, where did you get the inspiration for the film from?
Well, I like to do a thing which is walking alone at night. And during the pandemic, which was when I had this idea, I walked home alone at night pretty often. And I came across this house that I was familiar with since I was a kid. And it was a very strange looking house with these white and pink details in its exterior, but at the same time, this rugged wall surrounding it, these bars on the windows, and particularly on that night there was this TV light beaming from a window, and I think I saw two shadows of perhaps a mother and a daughter, mother and a son, watching set TV, and I thought, wow, such a vulnerable image within such a contradictory place. It's innocent, but it's scary as well, dangerous as well. And that's normally how I find ideas that attract me for filmmaking. I stumble upon what I call these images in the real world situations that I get transfixed by, and then these fictional ramifications start growing day by day. And on that case of In a House at Night, I later asked my father, what house was that? Because I was always familiar with it. It's very near where I live. And he said it was a women's shelter. And so it then becomes a thing of, particularly in A House at Night, I discovered that I like unfamiliar ideas that I don't necessarily have a direct experience with, which goes against the principle of, you should write about what you know. But I think it's also fair to say it's interesting to write about what you don't know, which is what Charlie Kaufman says, because I think writing what you don't know demands a certain research from you, which I did before writing. And so the filmmaking process itself is transformed into a humbling thing of learning about the matter. And through the research, you actually pick up elements of real life that actually happened that you mix with the fiction. And I think it really enriches the process of writing.
Yeah. I mean, it's like visually, it's so unsettling, but it's very immersive. It takes you on such a journey. And it's really interesting because you don't really go into the story as such. You don't tell us, you don't spell it out what's happening. But through this visual journey, you just it really takes you on a journey. Yeah. I mean, did you set out to do it like that?
Yes, definitely.
Yeah.
I really like minimalist filmmaking.
Yeah.
And so directors, there's a French director. Sometimes I remember myself for certain lines as I go and write. There are certain things that are crucial to me. Things I have heard and read about filmmaking, music as well, just different references from art. And there's the filmmaker Bresson, who says, I'd rather people feel before understanding the film. And I think that's a really neat idea for filmmaking, because filmmaking has this very powerful tool. It can create these very strong visual atmospheres where you can rather use the power of suggesting an underneath narrative truth rather than telling it to the audience. Yeah. And so when the dialogue happens, it actually comes with a lot more potency. And it's not spelling everything out, which I'm not so much interested in that. I think it is a medium with so much power to tell a story visually.
No, it's beautiful. And the mother and daughter relationship, it's wonderful, that one. It feels very real. I mean, how was that, finding them and casting them?
Well, I used a platform called Star Now, through which I found Moa Meyerson, the actress that plays Alice, the mother, and actually Honor, who plays the child, her daughter, Lynn. The father just sent me an email. Perhaps I don't exactly remember now, but perhaps from one of the posts I had on social media. Making a casting call, and really, I think first of all, in terms of their acting, the casting is very important. Yeah. And they really were. I think they shined through it. They were really very good people to work with. I couldn't have asked for a better pair of people to work with, because they were very enthusiastic about the work, enthusiastic about discussing the characters and asking questions, which is really valuable, because you engage in a conversation with the actors about what is the physicality of the character at each stage, the beats as well, the evolution of the dramatic beats, what's the double meanings of what they mean and what they do at this stage of the conversation or of the scene. With them in particular, after the casting, I had technical and acting rehearsals, because I really, for a start, underlined the importance of preparation. And so pre-production to me is a very important phase. I should have time, including for writing. And for what I could have of acting rehearsals, we did a lot of theater games, where we did games where sometimes I was involved to build trust and ease between us. And also games which were games that were playing with their imaginarium of scenes that went beyond the narrative, but they were set on the shelter. Like, let's say, Moa, you are Alice in this scene, and you are waking up, and you're going through your things, and it's completely free what you're doing. It's just your morning routine, and you are with your eyes closed. And I think that really propels for the actor or actress to be in character, or to find another space of being beyond what's written on the script. And
the chemistry, it was really, I mean, if you'd said to me they were real mother and daughter, I would have gone, I thought so, yeah.
Another thing, actually, just an interesting tidbit, is that Moa had, I gave her a full interview to her character that I did prior to writing, because I wrote a whole character interview, gave to her, and I think that really helped, because it just asked essential questions about the character, her past, her parents, and also a music playlist that I just gathered up about music that really inspired me about the world of the film. It's
so incredible. It's such a beautiful piece of work. It really is. It's excellent. I mean, what's next?
Well, right now, non-film-wise, I'm doing a film podcast. Check it out. I'm doing a film podcast, a film review podcast called Royale Without Cheese, with two friends of mine from film school, just a way to get, while working on other projects, just a way to keep getting connected to filmmaking, to different kinds of films.
What are you going to do within a house at night?
Within a house at night? Okay, I thought it was other projects.
Yeah, no. What's next? What's next with that? Are you entering it into other film festivals? Or?
Oh yeah, I'm trying to get into other film festivals.
Yeah. And why the Soho LIFF? What interested you?
Well, Soho LIFF seemed to have a very good promise in terms of their promotional area with this interview, of course. The fact that is in Soho, you know, we have 4 days with a lot of masterclasses, workshops, and it seems that despite being young in its start, it has a lot to offer in terms of its stays during the event with the workshops, the masterclasses. Yeah.
Excellent. Oh, excellent. Well, look, it is so lovely to have met you, and we're really, really delighted to be screening in a house at night.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much for being here. And you have to watch this. It's a really beautiful piece of work. It really is. So make sure you watch it. In a House at Night, which is screening on Thursday, the 17th of November.